Everybody, Sodaron here, and here we go on to video number 2 of the MSI Finals VOD review. I'm sure everyone remembers this game that happened 2 weeks ago. Today is the 14th of June, where this was live on May 29th, but here we go regardless. I did take the time to test the notes. Oh, I missed the pick and ban.
I think it makes sense. Ari, so he's not.
So here we go.
Not going to be on a TF or Galio. The Galio, of course.
The pick and ban phase. I'm sure some people don't like it. You can skip forward to the game. I personally like the pick and ban phase. Many games are won or lost here, and this is where Coach gets to shine. So I also have my own little sheet that I've made. I'm sure that others have probably heard that already in other videos, but for anyone, this is your first VOD. I have my own pick and ban sheet that I do, and it allows me to have a starting point of how to analyze these games, because it's like a bookend, having the beginning of the game stats, and then down here I have the end of the game stats. Like this, for example, this game will end in 26 minutes. I'm sorry, maybe some people didn't want to know, but you probably know that by now if you're watching a VOD review. This is probably most people's second, third, fourth time through if they're watching a VOD review. And maybe some people like to just watch a VOD review and not watch the game. They want a helping hand to point things out. So regardless, T1, they first ban in the first pick and ban, or the first ban stage, Galio, Jinx, and Nautilus, and RNG ban, Lucian, Gwyn, LeBlanc. I'll look off my sheet, and then you can see my sheet works. So
I'm curious to see what
I don't know if some people want to see RNG, but they're not even here at this tournament right now, so physically. So this sheet isn't in the way on game number 2. And so now we're on to the second ban phase, and T1 ban Aatrox, and RNG pick Ezreal, which I don't know why, because I don't recall Ezreal and Guma UC going together very well. Ezreal's not Guma's best champion, or the one he plays the most, or at least not famous from. And then RNG, their last ban is Senna, and for T1, Rakan. And so T1 first pick Wukong, whereas RNG first pick Ari and Zaya.
Has become very popular, it feels like, in these later stages.
And then T1 picked Lissandra, which is the, seems like the counter to Ari, or at least the blue side counter.
Be a stable team fighter there, and it feels like RNG once again are building for that team
fight.
And
then Gangplank, which then RNG's fourth pick, their top pick is Gangplank, which I mean is Gnar into Gangplank, which I think Gangplank wins that trade. So I don't think Ben decided to play Gnar. T1 get their famous bottom lane duo from the spring, where Guma plays Jinx and Keria plays Tahm Kench.
Just absolute dominance on these picks. Yes, they are not as strong as they
once
normally
were,
but they are still powerful.
Counter pick I see for Tahm Kench is
beat RNG in the second round robin. He was playing that
Braum,
something that no one was really playing, and Danny
RNG for some reason they pick Karma here, which I don't really understand that. At least in this meta, it seemed like range supports weren't good, except maybe Renata being the one exception. So I don't see much of Karma. I don't think we saw any Karma bottom at this tournament, or very few games. So it must give RNG some protection when Carriot is going to Tom Kinch, devour Guma, let's say, or Faker, and take them into the back line of a team fight later on. It could help zone Tom Kinch away and have shield and some movement. So that probably helps counter and protect that. So the other counters I've seen, teams like to run is Braum into Tom Kinch, which Ming, he loves to run unsealed spellbook Braum into Tom Kinch. So, and my voice isn't at its best today, but regardless.
Struggle in the lane itself.
So this sheet, it shows the team comps here and their runes, which Gangplank has Grasp, Gnar has Hail of Blades, which that's a very Ben thing to do, is pick Hail of Blades on Gnar. T1 get Wukong, Lissandra, Jinx, and Tom Kinch, where RNG get Gnar, Viego, Ari, Xayah, and Karma.
That's where you start to get those enormous leads.
So there's no other exception or weird thing that stands out on the runes, so they're fairly normal. So I'm sure no one really cares for me to take that sheet away, so there we go. And we are into the game.
It is an interesting sort of switch from game one. Game one, RNG,
so game one, Gumi UC dies, and T1's in jungle because RNG invades. This game, RNG sends Viego top with Ben, which is a really good idea because they're going to invest an extra ward, so Ben can keep his ward and stay protected longer from the very first gank. Ben likes to pressure the entire game, so he will be over the line, which the line I explained in my other VODs is there is a magic line that runs from one side of the map that splits it in half perfectly, which that's not perfect, but just imagine this line is perfect, and it runs from one corner of the map, or one side of the map, to the other side of the map, and it splits the map into halves of blue side and red side. So this is red's territory here and blue side's territory here, which this line changes throughout the game, but from the beginning this is what we're talking about. So Ben likes to go over that line and constantly pressure the top laner, the top turret. So anyways, that ward will help Ben be able to pressure and not worry about being ganked.
Instead of the self ult, because you don't have those resistances from the
because, it gives them an extra ward. Zhao is at the Razor Beaks, and Faker is protecting their own Razor Beaks, so they can't get vision there, which, here we go. This is the first thing I want to point out in the game, is Faker invests 2 corruption pot charges here just to get a ward in the RNG top red Razor Beaks. So now T1 start with vision on RNG, which RNG do not have vision on T1. So Faker, okay, it was 1 charge. Faker paid 1 charge for the ward, which was worth.
Faker versus Xiaohu, 2 incredibly decorated players. Of course, Faker, 2 MSI titles, 3.
I think I mentioned it earlier, but I intended for the casters to be included in the VOD reviews, so it's like I'm a third caster, or I am sitting with you on the couch pointing these things out, so the volume is louder today.
has historically had a slight CS
which the casters do say things that are important, so their information is valuable.
Of each other, 0.1% away as far as total KP. Like these guys have both been absolute rocks for their team.
And so the first
look at RNG as the
ward up top is about to go away, which Ben will have his soon.
That top performer for the team has been for many years across multiple positions.
One thing,
it's just incredible. And something I think almost take for granted.
The VODs don't show you all the vision for some reason. So. But anyways, regardless, T1 now know where Wei is, so Faker can prepare for him in his lane. And so here at 240, we start taking our notes here of the players' summoner spells, something that should be kept track of in the in-game chat with which the best players and teams in the world do automatically, even in solo queue. So Ben's flash is down, and Zeus' flash is down, which now leaves him vulnerable, and he used his ward there, the same brush. So he doesn't know if a gank is coming, which I don't know why Ben didn't hold on to that ward and put it here. But again, Ben is very aggressive, so I'm guessing that's why. Or he was afraid maybe that Wei was going to be in that brush. Or I mean, Owner was going to come from up here and be in that brush. But regardless, Owner's up here in the RNG jungle with information, so he has a ward there as well. So T1 know where Wei is, but RNG don't know where Owner is. And so here up top, we just saw Viego use his flash, but they go away from that. And then we've got some trades going on down at bottom to keep track of. There's Carrier's flash, Ming's flash, and Ignite. I meant Carrier's Ignite. Guma's heal. So all of Ming's summoners are down.
Nicely done.
RNG get the first blood.
To reset that. Owner now trying to come up here. We'll see if he can actually catch Ben.
And so Owner will, I guess, use his flash to get Ben. I don't know if that trade was worth. So 300 gold for a summoner spell.
Not in the best of states for
if I was coaching, I really wouldn't want my player to make a play like that. But he did make it, and he came back alive over the line. Ben uses his TP, and Zeus uses his TP at 335 to keep track of. The next one will be Fakers. I need to play off my notes here. I haven't been using them, but I spent all this time and got all this information. So Zhaohu's just asking to get ganked. Right there, he has no mana, so he backs. It's a good thing. Obviously, you're going to get ganked and not be able to get away if you're half health and have no mana in lane and you're overextended.
He was actually looking to make a wraparound play there on Xiaohu. I think his read was Wei would come back towards mid to look to cover, so he goes up, gets that kill there, and then Owner, Wei has...
So that, for example, is a place where commentators can talk and I can take a break for a second from the action. I can't constantly talk.
He's not comfortable taking the 1v1 even afterwards.
Wei once again though looking up towards this top side will be spotted on this.
So that was warded.
Ward in the tri-bush clears that one out. The Owner a little bit late.
Remember, Ben didn't have vision here, so he couldn't pressure. And this is a rare exception. When he's laning into Zeus, this is a rare exception for Ben to not be pushing and being on enemy side of the map.
Actually not late on his reset. Wei has yet to reset.
Nor is a losing matchup into Gangplank.
Gets himself a Caulfield's Warhammer is now
or
going
at least
down towards
early.
That bottom lane. Speaking of, it's about even down towards that bottom side. You can see Guma still very topped up on health. Still 2 potions to the good.
And so Guma didn't die off the bat, so that gives T1 maybe some of the momentum in this game they didn't have in the last game.
Now means that Ming has got to play this 2v2 a lot more defensively, so it's a huge win for Carrier and
also Faker used his TP, which I actually brought up, which was at 428. Again, these are things to keep track of in games and make it a habit.
of us think of time
not
catches,
say things like, well, we're not going to do it here because it's a practice, or it's something you got to do all the time and make it regular, no thinking behind it, it just happens.
Absolutely, and if you actually connect with that, there's the ability to follow up with the jumpers. There is actually that CC lockdown. Of course, it can be difficult. The speed ups from the Karma Shield.
So no one is valuing the Dragon.
We got to see the setup for the fight. We just got to see
they both want first Herald, so we probably won't see a team fight until around 8 minutes.
A slight advantage for them, about a wave up there.
These teams plan ahead, so we'll be able to see beforehand when they're setting it up.
T1 bouncing back strong here.
Kind of to be expected that these two teams would be very close.
RNG have vision of the bottom river with the Scuttle Crab. We can't see if T1 have the top. The observers and the Riot broadcasts don't show the entire vision of everything for some reason. So this is where it would be nice to have actual in-game replays. Both of these players have their ultimates up now.
For their first win against T1 in a best of 5 way, now looking up towards the top lanes.
So Zeus uses his. He's in a 1 versus 2. Faker was on his way up here from the beginning. Now Owner can kind of make his way up here. It goes back into the fundamentals, I say, in my presentation on my channel. Please watch it. But one of the basic fundamentals that I believe in is to have a brother, which means a teammate around you at all times if you're going to make a play like this, which Zeus has Faker coming up. So Zeus probably thought he was a goner there, but he comes back over the line alive. Faker has his ult. Owner doesn't have his ult yet.
Huge for T1, wins out in the 1v2, and then Faker on the roam. On the bot side, they do force
this is where I think I value teleport more than I value ignite or cleanse. Unless the team can win in 20 minutes or less, then ignite.
But when GP is getting ahead early in this matchup, there's no worse scaling in the Gnar versus
but
GP
like Ari
matchup.
right there
GP
couldn't match that. What I was trying to bring up.
Already. And T1 utilizing their mid pressure to have that roam comes up to great success.
It's what you said, the ability of Faker to get out of the lane, but also Zeus showing why coming into today he was seen as the best top laner in the tournament. This is what we were expecting in Game 1. Game 1 went to bin, but the Oranges to get out of the Gnar ult, to then trade with the parlay.
I don't know about Zeus making the invisible barrel chains. I'm sure he knows how to do that.
So getting paid on the roam, collects the kill, he's up farm, he's made the roam happen.
So some point there, I had in my notes that we overlooked was like around 7. Earlier, I have it somewhere where Carrier used his flash, but we didn't get to see it.
T1 have done such a good job taking Xiaohu off his Galio, meaning he's not able to walk around the map as much now. Only 600 gold ahead, but still a much better start in terms of how the compositions scale into the game.
Okay. Exactly. You know, I actually really favor what T1 has drafted in the 5v5
so
this time around.
What we got going on the map? I think I just saw Scryer's Bloom, didn't I?
Xiaohu off his Galio, meaning he's not able to walk around the map as much now. Only 600 gold ahead, but still a much better start in terms of how the compositions scale into the game.
So this is where the teams are preparing. See, they already made it here. The teams are preparing vision around the 2 objectives. The 2 main objectives are Dragon and Baron. So RNG's down here, clearing out all the vision, putting wards down here around the Dragon pit. So maybe at this point they already had their mind made up. They were gonna trade Dragon for Herald.
The gold lead is smaller than last game, but compositionally, I think.
And at this point, T1 have a 6k gold lead over RNG, which the gold leads and keeping track of the gold is very important because the team with the most gold usually wins the game.
In here, they're going to try to find a pick onto Owner.
Owner dashes away. Faker, no frozen tomb for him.
And so T1 could not get their red buff there. But Xiaohu had his ult up on Ari. Wei wish he had his ult up, but Faker's ult was down. Faker's there, and Owner doesn't have his ult yet. So they have to let this go. And this is an important thing that the top junglers know, like Owner and then the not top junglers. They protect and worry about their buff overall, whereas it doesn't really matter. It's not that important to hang on to the buff. It's not going to win the game for you. So he lets this go because they could not fight back at this point. And so they would have won the fight because Faker's ult was down. I mean, I don't know if they would have won the fight or not, but they don't take the fight. Ari has the cooldown boots, is where Faker doesn't have any cooldown. So they, anyways,
Owner dashes away. Faker no first.
Karma was, or Ming was coming over here anyways. Gallia is backing. So regardless, it's 8 minutes in, and what I'm saying is, oh, and Ben uses his ult here.
Rick comes down. Ben, look at the damage. Zeus once again the oranges to get up.
But what I'm saying is RNG contest don't contest the Herald. They decide to give it up to RNG for some reason, and that's why I'm pointing those out right now. I think that'll add up. So they get the dragon, and I guess they already decided that we'll let T1 get the Herald. They're getting the Scuttle Crab in the bottom for Vision 2, and there go T1.
This next wave here, unless they can see him back in mid, he's just gonna have to give it up, take a poor
And Faker's ult was back up.
Do collect another Herald here. That is really good for them because Zeus may even be able to grab another plate on top. Yes, RNG take a dragon on the bottom side, but this is going to be minions denied, the advantage getting bigger here, and if he can take down another plate, Herald means potentially full first tower.
This is so much more what we expected from
This is a lull state where there's not so much going on the map, so Ming is roaming for the supports out there that'll watch pro level support. In solo queue, the supports, bot laners, you get flamed if you're a support and leave lane, but if you notice at this level, the supports are always leaving lane and roaming.
They are much more Herald-focused team. In fact, they've only lost 3 of the first
Faker gets charm there. It's a good charm. I'm sure it's almost impossible to land a charm on Faker.
Which I just think is absurd.
So that was a plus for Xiaohu right there. Karria is coming over here. Gala is overextended over the line, but he has a flash and a cleanse to get out of there. And Ming was around, so that's why Gala was that far up.
To step back with Ming coming in, but a nice little try there for Karria. Not much of a risk, and if you are able to land it, hey, maybe you get the ulti or something out.
And from RNG's perspective, they are in a little bit of a hole at the moment, as you say.
Okay, one thing I wanted to point out was the deep wards that we see.
That cannon barrage to impact other portions of the map. And none of your other lanes
because only the top teams do this. They get really deep jungle wards.
He use that advantage to do? And trying to control the bottom side river with all of this vision that you are so elegantly highlighting, Azael. But what is that getting them?
Well, I mean, it's allowing them to actually have push more safely, right? Because as we
what
saw,
about
every time
the
Faker
Herald
leaves
buff?
Ben has to back off. Towards bot side, they have a lot more vision coverage, so
T1
they can feel more
normally
comfortably
don't
pushed up
waste
as they
the
are to this
Herald.
tower, right? If you don't have that
They'll
line
try
of
to
wards,
get a turret or two, or they're going to get the most efficient
with much more respect to the fact that these roams
lane to them. So I'm just interested to see
for this
what
karma. They need to be creating advantages. They want to be pushing, trying to farm plates here, and that is exactly what they are able to do right now.
bottom lane on RNG is overextended and they don't have any help. And so here T1 sending over Owner to help this 2 vs 2, make it 3 vs 2, which RNG are backing.
Getting more gold into a Jinx, getting her towards that first item, getting her out on the map can be a...
And that's a point like I make in my fundamental thing too, is controlling the minion wave. You can push it or allow it to come back. Either or, depending on if you have a jungler near you or a teammate or not.
Big changing moment, big crux in a game like this.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Jinx is just so strong.
Wei got his Divine Sunderer, so he's probably ready to fight now with the ult and the Divine Sunderer. So maybe that's why they didn't go to Herald. They were waiting on that item.
Is much more, I think, lane focused. Of course, you can be powerful in the team fights, but Karria, drafting the TK clearly to keep this Jinx safe in those later stages.
Zeus is playing smart. He's right at that line, skirting it, and Faker at this point, I think he's going to make a roam. He's sweeping this out to make sure there's no vision.
Here, I think, unless Zeus
and so I think he's coming up here to help Zeus. Oh, nope, he gets spotted on a ward, so he goes back. You know, there is no one decision to make in your games. It's multiple decisions.
Dodges away from the wallet for the stun.
Either or.
Does still have the flash. No stuns available, but
Zeus, he didn't get out of there.
On the board.
Nicely done by Ben, just scoops it in.
It cost
they do find an opportunity
Ben
here
his ult
to go in, get that kill. That is critical to slow down Zeus.
But he was kind of over that line.
Here, and you look at the itemization of Ben. It's not much.
Everfrost, Charm comes out. Xiaohu able to walk away from this one. Frozen
so
Tomb.
Faker uses his ult, and that's because
now looking for the chains as well. Faker has to flash.
No, Xiaohu doesn't have his Everfrost yet. He got the CDR boots, and Faker bought the paper bag boots, people say, and bought the Everfrost first, which I'm sure is more important for Lissandra to have the Everfrost than the CDR boots.
Once again,
the Everfrost route is great way to engage. Down bottom, Gala just used his ult and his flash. Ming used both his summoner spells. Guma used his 2 summoner spells. Faker used his flash, Owner's flash. There's a lot going on the map. They'll replay, I'm sure, several times. So everyone's using their ults and summoner spells, except they're in different. They're in all lanes right now.
They're ready to go. Gala trying to dive Gumayushi there. He had the earlier Gale
so that's a lot to keep track of. No one has really anything to punish right now when it comes to summoner spells.
Want to look for these aggressive plays here. He lands the root, and Gumayushi flashing back, proccing the heal there with the fleet footwork, and then has the space.
Right there, that minion wave really helped Guma. I see a lot of solo queue players don't understand that the waves help attack if you're in them.
To land the ulti there onto the Xayah, really well played, and so frustrating for Gala because it looked like he
Gala was standing in minion wave, so that didn't help him. Ben uses his ult at 1249.
Good little remove Scurvy there to escape
and his flash now, and Zeus uses his ult 1256. So a flash and an ult. And an ult.
Ben's already flashed. Ben, he's on the edge. He's on the edge of it. Zeus walks in. Blap, blap. Zeus takes the kill.
So Zeus gets his revenge for getting taken down earlier.
Down with the pistol. And gonna have the push here. Ben does have TP, but at the same time, T1 pushing on the other side of the map. This is the T1 we have come
Zeus is more of a team-oriented player. Ben is more of a pressure. He does his own thing type of play style.
Because yes, he has to commit the flash, but that's basically a flash to prevent a kill's worth of gold. So in this case, even though it looks a little bit silly, I'd actually call worth on that. I think that is pretty good. What is unfortunate is
rarely do you see mid laners get up into the T1 middle turret. I think it's said that the middle turret is the most difficult to get.
He is off to the races, and Faker up 1K.
And Faker already has a plate off of Xiaohu.
T1 solo laners are just looking unstoppable in this one.
Okay, so you've got like a 2K gold lead already because of little things like the plates being taken down.
Towards that 14-minute mark, although RNG have been in this position before, 2,500 gold behind on average in their LPL finals, which went to all 5 games against TES.
I was going to say they should be setting up for Dragon around this time, but they did. That's what they were doing.
How you snowball a game from this position.
T1 just hand the Dragon over to RNG. I think they were happy because they just got this turret, and again Faker got that plate. There's Guma using his ult at 12, or at 14, 15 probably.
In particular, because Ben is put so far down, he's never going to be
has his
in
blue buff.
Unless they can find.
Okay, I thought that ward was deeper. I was going to say RNG had a really deep ward, but not yet.
So a lot of pressure now on these RNG carries to really make things happen here. And we'll see if they're able to do that. But T1 are just better set up for success in this. Their 5v5 is better.
T1 hand over that Dragon.
RNG's lone advantage really is the 2 dragons, so I'm curious to see if they're going to be willing to just hard
So
commit.
they're going to take the Herald.
His Hextech Soul is very powerful.
Sorry about
one
that.
of the strongest in the game. The gates, of course, give us a little bit of joy as we watch the players tunnel through.
I need to hit the mute button
Second
next time I do
Rift
that. Sorry, that's not very professional of me.
He's backing, so he's not going to
So
be hit. T1 will get the second Herald.
T1 get the Herald. They get both Heralds. So
are left looking
that's
for
already a huge gold boost to them. They've got a 3K gold lead now, almost 4K, 27
Exactly.
to
The question
25K.
is, do you give up this next dragon here and potentially your soul stack
Okay,
condition to try
3K.
and trade for gold on the other side of the map?
My math is a
Because
little
T1
off,
are
huh?
pressing heavily. This mid lane
So
tower
they're going to get a
is
turret
mid to
with the
right.
Herald.
All of T1 is in the area here.
Faker first to move as well, so
T1 get the better trade out of
if
objectives.
T1 decides to continue their advance. Rift Herald will fall though, so T1 call off the battle in the mid lane.
Yeah, Faker just playing bodyguard there, you know, blocking out Xiaohu, and now, oh, a nice little sidestep.
And so this is the mid game now where the bottom laners, bottom down here, switch to the mid lane, and then the 2 solo laners, the mid laner, top laner, they work on farming out of these side lanes, which
trying to threaten Xiaohu and force out the ulti,
are
knowing the
very
owner is in
important.
the area. But both of these mid laners know exactly what the other
It's
is
not
doing.
good to
It's
let
kind of
these
this back and
minion
forth game of
waves
cat
like
and
this
mouse. You know, Faker
sit
having
here
a
and
defensive
waste
position around
later
mid
on
lane,
into the
then
game
Xiaohu
when it's
trying to
20
take one of
minutes,
his own
30
down here
minutes into
towards
the
bot
game.
lane and create these slight advantages.
It stays the same as the entire game. You want to keep getting waves. I think the point of the game is to get to level 18 and get the most gold. So you want to try to get level 18 as fast as you can. That's a good goal in the game. So I think Faker was trying to fake out Xiaohu in this, actually. This is Faker. He's made a living of doing things like this, like faking a recall.
Xiaohu's time to shine. MSI title.
So he hits that before he's charmed. He hits his E before he's even charmed.
Glacial Path. The charm was through the entire duration.
Wow.
Of the glacial paths.
Faker didn't use his ult there. I think most players, one of them would have used their summoner spell at least there, and they both get away with nothing. Oh, nope, Xiaohu had to use his ult. Okay, so Faker gets something out of Xiaohu. That's exactly what I was trying to point out. Faker did get Xiaohu's spirit rush.
He manages to escape with his
right?
life.
Nice little attempt from Xiaohu. You've got to look for those sorts of plays when you are losing control in a game. Wei now.
So that's Faker. There you go. He gets a free trade for, well, it wasn't, he traded his Everfrost route for Ahri's ult. It wasn't that much trade because Ahri's ult comes back up very quickly. And Faker went back and got a stopwatch. Wei has a stopwatch. I like to make a stopwatch counter in between or during the games. So Wei has a stopwatch, and Lissandra has a stopwatch.
Not quite up.
But 17 minutes into the game.
Moving down as well. They don't want to give up this tower for free. Trying to keep the gold advantage in their favor prior to this next dragon. Knowing
so
that
the territories.
Side, you pretty much have to fight this third dragon.
T1's. This territory is theirs now. So how do I? Right. So now T1's line is like this. Right? That's a horrible, but you see what I mean? This line went from here, or from here to here. Like this is now T1's territory because they got this turret down. They pretty much own this, and that's how this game works.
Dragon, it feels like. And they're in a great spot to do so. They want to make sure that
RNG get the bottom river vision.
Faker's looking for an aggressive play.
Looking for Wei and Ming is going to go the long way around. Tower does still stand here though, so Wei and Ming know they have the safety of that structure. Owner steps forward, puts the control ward in the bush, and decides against going further. So he's using the S move thing here. I quite like it on Wukong because when you press S, your character just stops.
Two sets
but with Wukong, when you go into your decoy as well, the character model does the same thing. So he's trying to bait the fact that he's using his decoy in case anyone has vision on him, and RNG then have to respect the fact that he could be jumping onto their faces
And I was gonna say, you know, you're not gonna see
So
something
anyways,
like that in pro play. But then we saw
sorry
the
about that.
Faker
That's not very
flash to the
professional of
bush
me, but I am
yesterday,
practicing and learning.
which was
So
absolutely crazy.
maybe
So
I shouldn't be
you
sorry.
can never put it past them to pull off these plays, man. You know, at this level.
So what do we got going here? We've got a 4 versus 4 down in bottom lane. Ben is up top, the top laner, and Gangplank. I think he's trying to figure out. I think he's roaming to mid
Best players in the world right now.
because he also has a global ult and a teleport. So
On the MSI stage, it's not
he can put
too
pressure
surprising
somewhere
that they are
else on
pulling
the
out
map.
all of the stops as
This is pushed up too far, anyways. See that line kind of goes like this now. So Gangplank switches down to bottom lane in case, or I mean to mid lane in case they need him bottom.
Stellar performance, much more like the Zeus we saw against G2 yesterday and through the MSI Rumble stage.
Absolutely, already has that collector completed. You know, some people were critical
Ben
of the
is
more kind of bruisery,
actually across the line. Ben is too far over the line.
And I'm
Zeus
kinda
knows
expecting him to
that.
continue down that path. We'll see if he diverges, but you can just complete a Zeal item, go your IE as the 4th, and you
But
can
of
become
course, Gnar has
incredibly
an
threatening
escape.
towards those later stages. You know, one crit GP barrel can absolutely change a game. As Ben knows all too well.
Yes, he does.
I'm sure
Yes, he
RNG they
does.
like Ben on Gnar
Players
because he
on
has
both-
that escape
He's
and
not
flash. He
like
can get
Spain.
a,
Players on
he has a
both
big
sides
distance he
cause,
can get away
European
with.
fans pain in the past. As Faker
And
looks to
he's
try and cause Shahu some
escaping.
pain in the bottom lane, cleanse away there from
So Faker uses his ult. Zalhu had to use his cleanse and ult to live.
still remaining in the chop.
And Zalhu missed his charm. If he hit this charm, this whole fight would have probably been different.
Their advance. Super mega.
But see, Carrier was there anyways. He could have devoured Faker if he needed
Death
to.
Rocket, where's that one go?
And then Guma throws in his ult at
A
19
wing.
minutes into the
I've seen Prey
game.
hit these
Ben
with an
is
arrow, not with a
recalling
rocket, and this one
back.
goes just a little bit wide.
Not quite able to connect. Would have been
RNG
really
may be
nice
going
right
back to
before
get
this
stopwatches
spawn
even.
of this
Who
dragon
knows?
here. And we'll see what the resets do look like for RNG. They're resetting
That
very late. You
gives,
can see Ben's heading out towards
T1
top, and
the
Mega is
dragon.
expiring. So I don't think they're even going to contest this. I think it will just be a T1 dragon, and RNG will try to get some gold back on the map. But the problem is they don't have their waves really set up to do so. You know, you look at the waves; it's already pushed in.
I
all
don't
the way
know
up
what to
here
think
from
about
T1.
the Hex Tech
T1's pushing in
Dragon
mid.
because
You know, Bot is
having a
pushing in
bunch
as
of
well.
distance you can
There's
get
not really anywhere
in
that
and out
RNG
of the
can
enemy
go to
jungle
grab a
that
free
really
tower.
changes the
You know, should
game.
be able to get back towards that top side pretty quickly.
This
to defend
dragon
this if they want.
changes the
Zayas can
game
even
more than
commit his
any
ult
of
towards
them.
top side to defend that tower and take out the mini wave.
Missile Voyage going down, they're looking for
So
me.
like this, you probably, I'm new to these VOD reviews, but when I'm reviewing the Hex Tech game, that changes things up a little bit because they can get in and out of each other's jungle, or out of each other's jungles.
Enough damage for the full follow-up. So you say the kind of
Faker is pushing up past the line, and that's what he likes to do. He likes to
fight, and it looks like that's what they're going to do.
put map pressure on and get the enemy team to come
They're
after
just gonna
him.
try to trade this tier 1 top for 2 towers bot. They already
Ben
knocked down
is
the tier 1.
extended over the
RNG laid on the
line.
resets, and T1 have 5 members here. Shahu's not going to be able to defend this on his own.
And the threat of the
I think
claw as well.
Gallo
You
is
see
over
it
here
advancing
getting the red
towards you.
buff out
have
of
to
his
back
jungle.
away because a single frozen tomb locks you in place. Shahu no cleanse as well because he used it earlier.
Exactly, that's the key thing.
So I don't know,
Faker
they didn't
trading
have
his
vision
ult
in their
aggressively.
jungle,
In that one
so
trade, it's like, well, you're just getting the cleanse. What's the point? But
maybe
the
an
ulti
enemy
cooldown for
jungler
the
could
soldier
have
is
been, or
much
enemy
lower than
been
that
there to
of the
take the
cleanse.
red
So if you
buff.
can trade that out, you know, rinse and repeat, then even just that claw threatens enough that Shahu
But
knows.
he
if I get
must have
ulted,
known he
I'm
was
dead
really
without cleanse,
safe.
so I must respect it. I must use the ulti defensively
These two guys, they're players to watch. Ming and Wei
T1
here
looking really,
in the
really
mid
strong
game,
in
they're
game
working
number
together
2.
a lot
You know,
to get vision in and
3,500
out of the
ahead
map.
At this point, Faker's got the Zonias
Because that
through,
line
2
is
completions
now
are
like
through
way
for,
up here,
you know, all of their key members now.
Ming has no flash.
except
No, no, it's there.
it's way up
Tongue
here.
lash into the Abyssal Voyage. No, no.
So Wukong's ult is down 21 minutes into the game. What else did they use? Did they burn anything else?
Lockup needed the Cyclone for the follow-up. Ming trying to heal himself up. Not enough. Ignite ticks and Carrier takes the kill. Bin though now on the chase. Any
Ming used
TP
his
opportunities
Ignite.
for RNG? None. As it looks like the Hextech gate will be enough for Carrier to escape.
Yeah, going to be able to get that kill and get out. A great job punishing this squishy support here. This
got
enchanter
mid laners
support.
that run the sweeper
On a
wards.
warding mission, knowing that, you know, hey, post 20
It's
minutes,
great
they
to
have
have
Jinx, they
as
have
much
GP.
vision
There
on the
is a
map. I
possibility that
preach
they can
about
start
it
looking
for
towards
4
Baron, so
hours
he
in a
at the very least wants
presentation
to
that's on my
maintain that
channel.
kind of vision in their own.
Here Faker is overextended, but again, the line at this point, because of where T1 have taking down the turrets and their map. I mean, on their map. That's where now the line is here, right? So anytime RNG go over this line, they're on now T1's territory and they're not safe. So the line changes. The deeper teams get on each other's territories.
It's part of the risk of having a ranged support that's quite squishy. It's like, who face checks for us? Right now, Bin with Meganar really is the only one on RNG that can face check, and it's the same problem that we saw T1 having in
and
Game 1. Like,
if they're both open, right, then it's not safe for either team.
Really begin the fight. Vision control for T1. Sublime down towards this
so now
pit.
Faker has his Zonya's hourglass. Owner now has a stopwatch. Way now has a, or Way still has his stopwatch.
To advance this game.
Yeah,
Ari's trying to get her
really
stopwatch.
For them, so they are going to be the ones with more pressure. You know,
Actually,
T1 can just kind of sit back, relax, continue doing what they are doing. They've been playing this out so.
This is where that's crazy. Like I said, the Hex Tech gate changes a lot of stuff because now you can get into the enemy's jungle anytime you want. So Faker, he makes a living of doing this. He will eat your support every time you play against him. Your support is seriously never safe around Faker. That's kind of why I said at the beginning, I think a ranged support's not going to be good. You're going to have Faker trying to one-shot your support the entire game. So, okay, we got all their ults going off. Carry has used his ult in there. Owner's flash, Gangplank ult. They'll show a replay. Wanted to see who Carry devoured and moved.
Oh, that's huge for RNG. They get multiple kills. Your owner is down. They're going to go to Baron. It looked like T1 had everything in their favor. And just like that, RNG find the
obviously, T1 lost 2 members, so this is an unfair fight. The RNG want to force T1 to fight them because they would outnumber them.
Flashed away by Yumiushi. Faker looking to get in from the back of the pit. Frozen Tomb available for him. RNG calling T1's bluff, and Faker finds them all.
And they punish them.
And Faker will not go quietly into the night. Form is temporary. Faker is forever.
That probably wasn't a good decision there on RNG to take the Baron.
Is even going to chase him down and take down Way. You hear Busan erupt as the
Me personally, I would have wanted a team to go for Baron there regardless. That's just something that Faker is going to make a crazy play on. And so, what can you do?
They get it all, and they're still on the chase here.
I was hoping they showed a replay. I was about to rewind it. I know they're going to show a replay here at some point. Trying to see what cooldowns, ults are down.
RNG did secure it in the middle of the fight. I was so focused on the kills. It makes it a lot harder, you're right. RNG get at least one Baron out alive.
Yeah.
So Way can buff up those minions, but now T1 making a beeline for the other side of the map. Dragon up in 30 seconds time.
The rich get richer though. You look over at T1's side.
So
third items now coming.
That allows RNG to go for the Dragon.
Saying that. IE now through here for Gumayushi. So that is massive, and you can see Faker likely working towards a death cap next. He already has the Mage Eyes. You know, is looking really, really strong already.
I don't know how much gold Faker got, but he probably got a pretty big gold advantage there. It's 46k to 42k.
Doesn't want to get flanked. RNG flanked so well in game 1. T1 though 4.
So here we go again. Let's look at the where they're setting at. Sorry.
5,000 gold ahead. Won the last fight. Faker.
Positioned. The word I was thinking of was positioned. So let's look where they're positioned. Owner and Faker behind the wall. They can both get over this wall if they need to. Kyria can move Gumayusi whenever he wants with the ult and get away. And Zeus can use his orange ability and get out of any stun. RNG's just together here. They want to brute force this dragon.
Looking for a position to
There's
get
no
onto this
flanking
backline.
or
What have we got in
anything.
terms of ultimates and flashes? Gala and Ming both have their flash. Gumayushi none, Carrier none, Faker none. No one on T1 has that summoner spell. Bin looking to try and get on towards that backline. Xiao who goes for.
Here we go. I think they were trying to point out that going into this fight, which probably wasn't a good idea, T1 was already down some of their summoner spells, so Guma didn't have a flash, Faker didn't have a flash, and RNG know this. They keep track of these things the entire game.
Oh, the charm's good.
And so, like, Gala has his, Ming has his,
Great devour from Kevin. Once again in the right position. Faker pops.
Faker has his
frozen
ult up,
tomb
so
in the midst of RNG, rooted up there.
so Faker ults and Zanya's, which creates what, like 5-6 seconds of time.
The Cyclone onto the backline. Glacial path for the follow-up. The Super Mega Death Rocket once again lives up to its name.
This is what T1 love to do, and then Gumayusi comes in and cleans up.
With a triple in the river.
He has the resets on Jinx ult, which T1 know how to take advantage of. It is very OP'd or strong if a team knows how to use the Jinx passive.
T1 heard you talking smack in game one, and they came back with a haymaker.
So this will
RNG
allow
could do
T1 to
nothing
at
in
least
the
get
early
a
game, could do
T1
nothing in the mid-game, and when they did something,
inhibitor.
they were slapped back into the dirt.
An inhibitor.
T1
Sorry.
advancing
This allows
above these
T1 to
Nexus
get an
towers.
RNG inhibitor.
1-1 in their
One of my mantras in my videos, my fundamentals, is closing out a game and knowing when to close out a game. And so their T1, they know when to close out a game. It's very important. It's very important if when you get a lead to take advantage of it and grow it to a bigger lead. And you want to bleed your opponent out, so I don't like violent turns. You want to starve your enemy of gold so they can't get back into the game. So that's why you want to close it out as fast as you can. If you got a lead, if you got an opening to close the game out, get it. Go full throttle and don't give up. Or don't back off. So I guess my summary questions are Lissandra, Ahri counter, question mark. TP pays off late game. Range support's not good, question mark. Oh, at the highest level of competition. T1 value gold over dragons. Jinx and Tom Kench's duo. Way rarely loses on Diego. Ben is not so good with balancing Mega Gnar. Later in the game, T1 push in quick and advantage. Okay, so I thank you everyone. This is VOD number 2. And so I will see you. This is Sodaron. I will see you on game 3 of the MSI Finals. So please, I'm trying to get some feedback of if the volume where I have it now is better, makes the video more enjoyable. Please let me know, and I will see you on game 3. Thank you.